Hello, Hosk here. Today's video is about understanding the Microsoft and Salesforce partnership. I had been on holiday and then came back to see the Twitter sphere buzzing and fizzing with confused and in some cases a bit angry about the new partnership. So I thought I would do a quick I've written a blog on it, but I thought I'd just give a quick video to sort of go over some of the major points. Like many things, really, here are the two bosses. I can't remember what Salesforce man's called, but there we go. So what's happened? Basically, there was this announcement. Which basically covers the fact that now, in the future, Salesforce will work with everything Microsoft's got to offer. Windows, Windows Phone, Office 365, Outlook, the OneDrive, SharePoint, and Excel, Power BI, everything. Absolutely everything. And this obviously has caused a bit of confusion amongst the Microsoft Dynamics community, because one of the major advantages the salesman had of the resellers of Microsoft Dynamics is the fact that Microsoft CRM worked fantastically with all the Microsoft offerings, all the Microsoft stack. You know, it's got its own app for Outlook. A lot of people use Outlook. You know, you can use Active Directory, Office 365 with the online. You know, and there's now an app for Windows Phone. You know, it just worked perfectly. And the fact you could export stuff to Excel and get it out and do reporting. That was a very big selling point, because obviously most companies have Microsoft products in their desktops, and so it was a big advantage. So now they've removed that. It seems weird. I mean, the way I view it is that really Microsoft is trying to keep ahead in selling their basically Windows service, and they're trying to make ground with their mobile tablets, and this maybe is just going to open the door to be able to get all those Salesforce customers will now be able to buy Microsoft products and sort of use them and integrate it into their business, stopping all those potential customers sort of drifting away to some of the other offerings. And to do this, they're basically kind of sacrificing Microsoft Dynamics a little bit. There was also a statement from Kirill. I'm not going to go for his second name. And he sort of in some ways summed it up, I think, in many of the ways people feel about it. Because he sort of says, oh, you know, it's going to be good, although there aren't really any real benefits for Microsoft Dynamics with the integration, the new partnership. And then at one point he says it's good that they're now working together with Salesforce, and then down below he says, but we'll also be competing still, which kind of doesn't seem to really marry together very well. The next article I kind of looked at to get a good understanding of it is Leon Tribe. He is a CRM MVP, and he offers probably, I think, the best article on the whole caboodle. And he's sort of basically saying that people have been nibbling away at Microsoft's operating system, with Apple coming in, taking Apple computers, Apple iPads, and they've been taking away business. Android has obviously been in there, and also taking away business from the mobile phone. Operating systems, I think, you know, there's now a sort of possibilities for small businesses to get away from Microsoft uh, operating system, and so this is all kind of geared towards keeping users using it. Um, it kind of highlights the fact that it's not a great deal for Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and his conclusions sort of it's all about stopping the nibbling, with this strengthening the wall around the core products of Microsoft Windows, Office, and cloud offerings. And what he makes a very good point is the fact that basically Microsoft make all their money from those, and they don't make a massive amount with CRM in comparison to the rest of it. So looking after those core products is possibly a good idea for them. So my comments on the final thoughts really are, it's sort of a sad day in a way. I always viewed Salesforce as the natural competitor, the enemy for Microsoft Dynamics, and I felt that Microsoft Dynamics was gaining ground. That started late as usual, but they were improving at a rapid rate and with heavy investment in Microsoft Dynamics CRM, that it was gaining traction, and it was improving. And and even now with CRM 2013, although the UI is not quite there yet, a bit Windows 80, need to make some improvements, maybe backtrack in a few areas, that it was, it looked better, it looked sexy. And one day I could imagine with Salesforce maybe struggling for funds, and sort of commercializing itself in a better way, and Microsoft with all its money back in reserves, it would have sort of won the war. And now this kind of gives Salesforce a bit of renewed impetus in many ways. But there are some important points. It probably won't happen until next year, so that's another year. Microsoft obviously have got bigger fish to fry. They want to get in the phone, get some traction in the phones and tablets. They want to get more people using Office 365 and their desktop application, Windows. So you can see that perhaps by sacrificing Dynamics CRM a little bit, that would help. That would sort of help them in that aspect. I wonder in some ways whether they're with this kind of online, with social listening, with the marketing functionality and the improved kind of help desk, whether Microsoft are thinking about just kind of selling CRM off the shelf as it is. That could work. You could see them selling to smaller companies, selling more to those, and almost seeing it like a software package. Although I would say it doesn't fit in quite as well with the kind of projects I've worked on. I've often been bigger ones, and they've just been full of customizations. So that doesn't quite work. I've read some things where they're sort of saying, is Microsoft abandoning Dynamics CRM? I don't think so, because look at all the investment they've made recently. They're buying, whole companies to fit into Microsoft Dynamics CRM. They've been investing it heavily in the last few years, having lots of releases. So it'd be a bit daft, I think, to them to sort of suddenly stop investing in Microsoft Dynamics after all that kind of expenditure. It just kind of highlights really the fact that working with Microsoft Dynamics CRM is interesting. Things are always changing. New stuff's being added. The pace is sort of relentless. And this is another sort of hurdle we have to leap over. And you wonder, Satya Nadella has got some kind of tactic, some kind of plan. He's aiming the company in one direction. And it's interesting because we're not really sure quite where that is or what's happening, but at least he's being dramatic. So there's my quick overview of the new partnership with Salesforce. You can go to my blog and there's this article and there's links to lots more articles. I just thought I would give it a quick bash at kind of understanding it and seeing what it means for us all.